I heard the splash before I saw her. 1 minute, I was tracking a Navy SEAL doing a flawless low-light underwater extraction drill, full stealth mode, dummy slung over his back, and the next. A shriek cut through the night air like a malfunctioning smoke alarm. Right there in the dead center of the pool, inside our blacked-out training perimeter, floating on a giant pink flamingo, was a middle-aged woman in cheetah print swimwear, holding up a wine tumbler like she'd just won the America's Cup. She had no clue she was smack in the middle of a federally sanctioned, top-tier SEAL team training exercise, or that 6 highly trained operatives were watching her in stunned silence through infrared goggles, wondering if they'd just been compromised by someone's drunk aunt. Let me rewind a bit. My name's Logan Price, and I live at the far end of Maple Ridge Hollow. A sleepy cul-de-sac neighborhood with the kind of HOA that still thinks holiday wreaths should come in regulation colors. My property is a bit different, though. Double lot, dense trees. And most importantly, a custom-built, off-grid aquatic training facility approved by the Department of Defense. See, every year. My old SEAL unit, Bravo Team 5, gathers here to run refresher drills. Underwater NAV, blackout ops, full gear escape maneuvers. It's legal, licensed, and, until recently, completely under the radar. The drills were going smooth. The team had arrived 3 days earlier. Blackout tarps were up. Sonar triggers in place. Comm lines silent. We ran night simulations using infrared markers, avoiding any surface splash that could attract attention. And then that splash. I ran to the sliding doors just in time to see the chaos. Floating proud in the center of the pool was Gloria Whitaker, the self-appointed HOA enforcer and human embodiment of a passive-aggressive email. This was the same Gloria who once filed a complaint about my pine tree not being aesthetically consistent with the neighborhood, and who showed up last Christmas to say my LED wreath was visually overstimulating. Now, she was literally backstroking through a federal operation, sipping rose, and shouting, "This pool is divine. Logan, you sly dog, hiding this from the rest of us." I was seeing red. "Gloria," I barked, "get out of the pool now. You have no idea what you just interrupted." She waved her hand like I was overreacting. "Oh, don't be dramatic. The HOA rules say shared recreational spaces can't be hoarded. I'm just enjoying what should belong to the community." Let's be clear. She had scaled an 8-foot locked privacy gate, ignored 2 signs that said restricted, authorized personnel only, and trespassed into a live SEAL training scenario. That's not ignorance. That's willful, wine-fueled lunacy. One of the SEALs surfaced behind her, deadpan. "Sir, do we initiate swim tether protocol?" I sighed. "Stand down." And then Gloria upped the ante. She pulled out her phone and said, "Actually, I think I'll just call 911. You've got strange men in masks doing synchronized swimming at night. Pretty sure that qualifies as a cult." 10 minutes later, 2 squad cars rolled into my driveway, lights flashing. Gloria greeted the officers from her float like she was hosting a barbecue. Officers. Thank goodness. I was forced to jump in to protect the neighborhood. There's a paramilitary group doing drills at midnight. I stepped forward, calm but firm, and handed over my ID. "Logan Price. This is a sanctioned federal training site, approved under DoD Contract Bravo 527. These men are Navy SEALs. Everything is legal." One officer blinked. The other, Officer Jenkins, looked closer. "Wait, weren't you my instructor in Coronado in 17? "Still am. Part-time." Gloria's face dropped. "What do you mean it's legal? You can't just turn your backyard into a military base." "Ma'am," Officer Jenkins replied, "you trespassed onto a government-authorized facility. That's a felony. Plus, calling in a false emergency? Abuse of emergency services." "I'm the HOA president," she shrieked. "No," I corrected, "you were voted out last year. You just kept wearing the badge you laminated at Staples." She stood on her float, dripping and furious. "This is outrageous. You're dangerous. You're turning this neighborhood into a militarized zone." And that's when 3 SEALs emerged in perfect formation, masks catching the moonlight. One saluted. Gloria screamed, dropped her tumbler, and tried to climb out of the pool with whatever dignity a sopping wet flamingo provides. Police advised her to leave. She demanded a citizens' tribunal and threatened to call the mayor. Eventually, she left, but not before sloshing across my lawn, muttering about deep state chlorine warfare. The SEALs burst into laughter. One mimicked her accent. "This pool is divine." I didn't laugh. Not yet. Because Gloria wasn't just a nuisance, she was dangerous. By morning, I woke to a dozen notifications. Gloria had uploaded edited footage to her Facebook page titled, HOA Hero Uncovers Backyard Military Cult. The clip showed shaky footage of our drills, with dramatic music overlaid and Gloria whispering into her phone like she was filming an expose. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag #SealPoolParty and hashtag #NeighborhoodNavy started trending. National news called. My inbox was a war zone. The DoD liaison rang by noon. Mission compromised. Team relocation initiated. And Gloria? She had no idea the depth of what she'd stirred up, but she was about to find out. I convened with a few rational neighbors. Ben, a retired Air Force pilot, Clara, a trauma nurse, Raj, ex-FEMA logistics officer. Together, we built a dossier. Gloria's trespassing. Her 3-9 calls to emergency services over the past year, including one about suspicious tulips. Her use of HOA funds to install floodlights aimed only at her hydrangeas. We presented it all to the board, backed with footage. Gloria climbing the fence in full camo. Gloria shouting freedom as she cannonballed into the pool. Gloria accusing a Navy SEAL of being a chlorine terrorist. The board voted unanimously to suspend her from all HOA activities. She retaliated. Of course, with signs like Free Gloria and accusations that I had mind-controlled the board with ultrasonic pool waves. But this time, nobody listened. Her rants fell flat. Neighbors ignored her. Even her Freedom Chair protest on my property line was met with silence and 3 days of sunburn and mosquitoes. And then came the final blow. A city inspector arrived, responding to an anonymous tip about unauthorized military-grade filtration systems. But instead of my pool, it was Gloria's property that got flagged. Turns out, she'd used HOA money to build unpermitted garage additions, fake stone blast walls, and a koi pond in shared green space. Multiple code violations. Heavy fines. Even a cease and desist from the city for impersonating a neighborhood patrol. She tried one last stunt, a nighttime infiltration and cheap night vision goggles. She rolled across my lawn, whispering into a plastic walkie-talkie, narrating her spy op. But the sonar trigger went off, water jets whooshed, and she fell into the pool again, camera and all. When she tried to yell, assault, I just pointed to the blinking Homeland Security monitor on the wall. You've triggered breach protocol. You're now flagged for federal observation. She left, defeated, sputtering, cold. At the next board meeting, Clara presented a slideshow titled The Cost of Chaos. She walked through every dollar Gloria had cost the community, legal fees, inspection penalties, HOA misuse. When I was invited to speak, I kept it simple. We weren't building a base. We were training to stay sharp. Gloria turned it into a battlefield because she didn't know the difference between privacy and secrecy. And the neighborhood paid for it. The room was quiet. Then came applause. Weeks later, Gloria's house quietly went on the market. No goodbye cupcakes. No farewell wine tastings. Just one last moment, Gloria yelling at the movers for stacking her freedom crystals too close to her birdbath. I still have the footage. Every moment, every shriek, every flamingo. But I never posted it. I didn't need to. The community knew the truth. Gloria had tried to swim in a world built on discipline, structure, and trust. But she drowned in her own delusions. Now, the water is calm. The fence stands tall. And peace, earned and steady, has returned to Maple Ridge Hollow. If you've ever dealt with a Gloria in your life, tell me in the comments who was right, who was reckless, and what would you have done if your backyard turned into a battlefield? Smash that like, subscribe for more HOA madness, and remember, always lock your gate.